Howdy and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Has anyone else out there already put 2021 on a check or a form, or anyone else having trouble switching to the new year yet? And we are going to go ahead and get our PD coordinators webinar started. So I'm Laura Greer with TCAL. I'm going to be driving the slide deck behind the scenes, watching for questions, putting links in the chat pod. And we also have our lovely Paula Bauer on today, who will be helping transition us from one slide to the next and introducing presenters and whatnot. So once again, howdy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Paula, I'm going to turn my camera off and let you get going.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Our first PD coordinator webinar of the year. We're going to kick it off with our agenda. We'll have TCAL announcements. We'll update on the professional development centers. We also have some announcements on some training conferences and statewide events that's coming up in 2022. And then we'll recap our wonderful monthly webinar series. We'll hear from the different representatives about what's coming up in the first quarter. And we'll go to assessments and PD portal announcements. And then we follow up very last with where you get to shine. You get to share with us, or ask us for any advice in the PD coordinator time. I think first up we have Deb.
Thanks, Paula. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. We are hiring. We've got two positions that are still that we're still working with here at TCAL. The professional. I thought I put the posting in the chat pod. Oh, I didn't hit enter. That will help. So we're still looking for a professional development specialist. The job posting is still live. If you know anybody, or if you know anybody or anybody in your program or friends or colleagues that would be interested in working with this team, please share that information. And we're waiting to put the learning support specialist position back up online. This is a position that is supporting Laura and Katie at the PD portal. So it's basically some LMS experience, some technology experience, some video production or Google or Camtasia, that type of stuff. We're going to announce that once that new position it gets posted again. So we had an offer out and the offer was declined. And so we have an opportunity to put it back up. And as soon as we do, we'll let you know. Just wanted to put it in your ear to keep an eye out for it.
Okay, thank you, Deb.
Yep.
Up next, we're going to talk about a couple of our new professional development centers. We call them PDCs. And I think up first is Ms. Joan Jackson with the Career Pathway Professional Development Center. Joan, you can take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joan Jackson, and I am the training coordinator with the Career Pathways Professional Development Center. I am housed all the way over in Huntsville, Texas. And just wanted to update you guys on some of our upcoming professional development. Tomorrow is our next workshop in our planning and implementing IET program series, but that session is full, but we plan on having an on-demand course in the future for anyone that's not able to attend tomorrow. So keep your eye out for that. And also coming up in February is the third of our series, which is called, you're skipping through, called Implementing the IET. I believe there are still some spots available for that. So if anyone is interested, Olga says there's 14 seats still available. So if you guys are ready for that, then go on and sign up. And then I think I have another slide potentially. Yes, and we also have a Career Pathways Taylor pre-conference session on February 9th. And the focus of this is going to be IET success for English language learners. We're going to have two sessions. One is from 10 a.m. until noon, where we will cover needs and goals. And the second session is from 1 to 3 p.m., where we will talk about industry stakeholders in the classroom. And these are, we're working on them, and we will send out more information a little bit closer to Taylor. And that's all I've got for today. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Joan, for joining us today. Next, we have our very own Michelle Vick, who will talk about the Distance Education PDC Call Center. That's a mouthful.
It sure is. So we're really happy to say that next week we're going to be doing a soft opening for our call center. We've got 4 programs around the state that are piloting this with us. And hopefully everything's going to go well. We're going to work out all the kinks. And the beginning of March, we'll be opening the call center to everyone across the state. And this call center is for all of your program's distance learning students who are using those distance learning curricula and needing support as they're on it. It's also for your instructors if they need support as they're working with that curriculum, or if they're needing support with other technical assistance related to remote teaching or digital literacy. So we're really excited to be able to get it started next week. We've got a phone number. Please don't hand this number out yet because we're just using it with the 4 pilot programs at this point. And then next week at Teacher Tuesday, we will be giving a full presentation on the Distance Education PD Center, the PD side of it and the call center side of it. And so we really want you to push that out to your instructors, encourage them to sign up through the portal and attend Teacher Tuesday next week. And then we'll also be doing a presentation at Taley as well. So that's where we are. We're really excited to get things moving.
Thanks, Michelle. Sounds great. Next, we're going to share new training and conferences and statewide events that are coming up. I can share it with you. We have lots coming up in 2022, and we are going to start off with the Taley. Tracy, are you going to talk about Taley pre-conference?
So we have Taley pre-conference, which will be on February 9th before the conference. That's that Wednesday. And so in the morning, we have a PD coordinator sessions, 8:30 to 11:30. The QAPA, it's from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. And then the Career Pathways Center is going to be broken up from 10 to 12 and then a break and then 1 to 3. And so you can register for those events through Taley on the Taley website. Okay.
Tracy,
Yes.
it's quality assurance and performance accountability.
Okay.
Those are designated staff
Let me
members for all the core grantees.
Oh,
Okay, great. Thank you, Lori. I think we're done with that slide. We will talk about Taley in a bit. Denise Arand was in. She had to go to a meeting. We hope she comes. We hope she's able to make it back. If not, we've got several announcements about that. So just hang tight, okay? Tiffany, good question. Are the DL leads going to have a pre-conference? No, they're not. Not this time. Good question.
The 2022 literacy symposiums are shown on your screen right now. They're all face-to-face. So February, we'll have South Texas and Edinburgh. March 5th is East Texas and Longview. And in April 2nd, we'll have South Plains. They're all on Saturdays. Please encourage your partners, if they're community-based organizations or volunteer literacy AEL programs, to join these. We have some great professional development. And if anybody in your area needs extra credit for PD, these are all going to have PD credit attached to them. And then 2022 Literacy Texas Annual Conference is scheduled for August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and will be here in this town, College Station. To register or find out any additional information about these conferences, the symposiums, you can use the link that we have right here at the bottom of the screen. Just go to Literacy Texas and you can find that information out. Okay, next up, we have Tracy for Krista on an announcement.
Yes, we're excited to announce that January 25th, Donna McDonough is going to be back from GED ETS to talk about GED Manager for program year 21-22. So she's also going to talk about how to pull reports, the reporting features, but then she's going to talk about how the GED test at a testing center versus online proctored testing at home and the cost differences and policy differences. So that should be great information. The information, you can register on the portal. It's January 25th from 2 to 3:30. So we encourage you to attend that. That's all for me, right? Oh, there I am again. It's my name. Okay, so we have 9 seats left in the Poetry in Motion, the pilot with Delia Watley on January 20th. And I know I've gone over the description last month. It's going to be a great session. We will offer more, but we kind of announced it there right before Christmas when a lot of people were getting busy closing out programs and going on break. We do have 9 seats. And so if it fills up, I promise we'll do it again. But this is how to build writing skills in both ELA classrooms and ESL classrooms in a very creative way. And I think you'll be thrilled to attend or ask your teachers if they're interested. And I bet those 9 seats will go quickly. And
Okay,
20th from 1 to 4. Oh, there's my jumping guy.
There he is. Sorry, Tracy.
I was
didn't practice-
wondering,
I didn't
that's okay.
practice this part.
This is going fine. So, okay, that's all I have.
Okay, now we have come to a point in the PowerPoint where we can ask questions. So if anybody has questions, you can write them in the chat pod or unmute yourself for any of the information that's been covered thus far. Again, we sure do appreciate you being patient with us today. Technology was not.
Tiffany asked a question, a Taylor related question. It's a good question, Tiffany. If you'll hang on, we're going to address all of those questions, including that one at the end where the Taylor slide is. We're kind of pushing that toward the end, okay? Yes, Pilar, Poetry in Motion is open for anyone to register.
Thank you, Tracy, for reading the chat pod. Any other questions? I think we understand.
Poetry in Motion. Is that in College Station?
No, it's online. It's a virtual class.
Great.
Yes, anyone in the state can register. It's mainly for teachers. I would say that's the main audience, so they can learn how to teach these different poetry concepts and use them with their students. We'll have resources, tons of resources and handouts. And yes, it'll be online. Thank you, Robin. So, and it is a pilot. Thank you for reminding me of that, Robin. It is a pilot. So at the end, we're going to ask everybody to answer 3 questions about the pilot so we can, see how it went, if anyone has feedback, and then implement that. Good question.
Okay, yes. Where do we register? Where do I register? Dr. Milton is
In the
asking.
PD portal, it should be open. Look, January 20th in the PD portal calendar. Click on the event and it will say request, and that's how you register.
Great questions. Any others? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. We have now our monthly webinar series, and we'll hear from each of these representatives. I think we're going to kick it off with Wendy on the Manager Mondays.
Hi, everybody. So just to remind you, the next Manager Monday will be on January 24th, and that session will cover the 21-22 HSC voucher program. And so Maria Morrow from TWC will be delivering that presentation. So that is in the PD portal, and you can register for that now. And so we hope to see you there at that one. Next slide, please. And then for the next 2 months after January, in February, we're going to have Dr. Rick Alvarado again. He's going to be discussing building and maintaining trust. And then in March, we're going to have TWC come back and discuss the AEL testing guide. February is in the PD portal, but March is not there yet, and hopefully it will be there next week. Next slide. And here is the schedule for all of 2022. So if you want to mark your calendars for all of the Manager Mondays, that will be great. And I think I've got sessions scheduled for just about all months, but I do have a couple open towards the end of the year. So if you have any ideas, go ahead and send me an email, because I would love to hear from programs of what they're doing. And if there's anything you want to share with the rest of the state, it would be a great opportunity to share the good things you're doing. Thank you.
Great job, Wendy. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to the Teacher Tuesday. Represented will be Tracy for Krista.
Yes, so for Teacher Tuesday, next week, January 18th from 12 to 1, Michelle already talked about it when she talked about the opening of the Distance Education Call Center. We encourage you to have all of your instructors register and attend We're very excited about this opening. We're excited that we're going to have staff to actually answer the phone. I mean, this is kicking off. So please, please have your staff register for that.
Sorry about that, Tracy.
That's okay.
Next we'll hear
I'll
goes
stop
with the
talking.
Okay, Dr. Escamilla, you're up for Workforce Wednesdays.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. On January 19th, please join Rosa Guzman Snyder as she addresses how we all have biases based on our past experiences. It's a great session. So she's going to be modeling activities during the session that can help foster community and build solidarity among students and instructors. And then for February 16th, the Gulf Coast College Navigators are back with a 4-part series, and this will be the part 1 of 4. That will break down the 4 steps in career planning, and it addresses the who. This session will address the who, what, and how of career planning and exploration. So again, join us for step 1, who am I? Exploring different online assessment tools available to assist students in identifying their personality type, values, and interest in preparation for their career choices. Next slide, Paula. And the next slide is just information on our 2022 dates, and I placed those in the chat for you if you want to grab those, and registration is in the PD portal. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. And now next up, we have our Tech Intel expert here, Anne Marie.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy January 2022. And in January 2022, we are welcoming Dr. Deborah Hargrove and Ashley Winkle, our team members, to present on the contextualized videos in the Cure Your Content with Contextualized Videos. So this is going to be talking about the development and the implementation and of these videos that are actually based on fictitious lives of 5 students and their desire to pursue jobs and careers at the Adult Ed Med Hospital. So I'm very excited to have them on for January 2nd, so you can learn more about these videos and the accompanying resources that go with them. So please join us, and registration is in the portal. It's been in the portal for quite a while, so we hope we have a big group. So next slide. And I'm also excited to share that Tiffany Lee, who's on this webinar today, is going to be back in February to present an advanced session on Nearpod. She presented in 2021. When was it, Tiffany? I'm not sure when that was, but it was an awesome webinar. And now she's going to be back. But this is going to be for the advanced Nearpod users. So join us on February 18th, and registration will be in the PD portal soon. And I think you're right, Tiffany. I want to say October, but we're just excited to have you back for sure. So stay tuned for that. So now I also have dates, not quite as far out, but we also have dates now in March and in April. And in March, I'm going to put a little bit of a teaser out here. We are going to have a brand new presenter on March 4th and March 25th, and actually a licensed special education teacher that's in adult ed, and she's going to be presenting on a new math resource that I'm completely jazzed about. So stay tuned for that. And then in April, we have Michelle Vick will be presenting on Jamboard. So on April 15th and April 22nd, mark your calendars for Jamboard part 1 and part 2. So stay tuned. And then I should have more dates lined out next month. So thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Anne Marie. And I think you're still up.
Okay, yes, I am. That's right. And as always, you can reach out to us with ideas. We learn so much from all of you, and we look to your expertise. So if you have ideas about any of the webinar series, email us directly, and let us know so that we can feature the teachers and other professionals on the webinars. Thanks, Paula.
Yes, thank you. We have come again for another question and answer period. If anybody has any questions on information that we've covered thus far, you can put it in the chat pod and or you can unmute and ask us a question.
What were the 2 dates in March for Tech Intel?
March
And I'll-
4th, March 25th.
And I'm going to put the dates in the chat pod too. So thank you. I'll put
Okay.
them in the chat pod. Yep.
Okay, everybody's ready to move on. We'll go into Tracy. You're on again for assessment training.
Okay, so thank you, Paula. If you let's go to this slide. We are still working on scheduling TOTs for the spring, so just stay tuned. We will let you know when they are available.
Okay, thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Paula.
I think we've paused for questions, but anybody want to add one right quick? Be looking in the chat pod or listening. Okay, well, just know you can always put your questions in the chat pod. I'm going to go on to Katie and we'll talk about PD portal announcements.
Hi, everybody. We have several new courses that have been published in the PD portal. In fact, there's actually 2 slides of them. So we have a GED series part 2, ensuring access through accommodations. This one is informational only, so there's no PD credit awarded. We have 3 Manager Mondays that are ready, 12 overlooked practices great leaders develop that poor leaders don't, creating resilient and thriving teams, and coaching and empowering questions. We also have a Teacher Tuesday, introducing the Texas AEL Family and Civics Content Standards. And to the next slide, we have 2 Workforce Wednesdays, so Personal and Workplace Success Skills Library and Interviews Prep for Success. We have 2 Tech Intels, Transforming a Learning Environment Using Nearpod and Teaching Skills That Matter in the Civics Standards. So we have been very busy pushing all of these out. Just as a reminder, if you can't make it for a live regular webinar series, just remember that most of these will go through post-production and will become available a couple of weeks later.
So a couple of just friendly reminders from the PD portal team that have come up and have caused a little bit of shakeup for us in the recent couple of weeks. Number one, if you're requiring staff to attend a live training session, please give us a heads up. That just helps us make sure that we're able to accommodate and get everybody in and ready to go on time. We did have an instance come up where folks had not registered and it was after the webinar had started, and they were very insistent because they said that they were required by their PD coordinator to attend this training. So it just, if we have a heads up on some of that stuff, it's helpful for us to know. So you are always welcome to email pdportal@tamu.edu and just let us know about information like that. And then the second one has to do with participants withdrawing themselves from a session. There we go. Thanks, Paula.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So participants are able to withdraw themselves from the session. So if you could just continue to pass this information, this reminder down the pipeline to your staff, we would really appreciate it. We don't have many sessions that max out the roster, but when we do, we typically have a pretty extensive wait list. And when folks sign up but then don't show up and we've got willing people who want to attend on the wait list, it just kind of puts everybody in, again, a little bit of a bind and awkward situation, because we need to make sure that we're respecting the roster count that the trainer has set in place. So staff can withdraw themselves. They would do it through the PD portal. I have put a picture here on the slide. They would just click that upside down triangle and then withdraw. It's going to ask them a question about why they're withdrawing. They don't have to provide us any information. They can just select other and submit it. It'll take it off their transcript and it will send them an email that just alerts them that they have been withdrawn from the session. And I put a little blurb and a link in the chat pod that goes to a PDF that talks about, the PDF is titled How to Request a Live Webinar, but on page 2, it talks about and provides steps for how to withdraw yourself from a live webinar. Super great resource just to pass along down the line to staff so that they are aware. That's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Great information. Thank you, Laura. Katie?
I'm back. All right. So some of you guys are very much used to these active user audits, but we do have some new people in a supervisory role. So please expect an email coming soon. I want to say next week, hopefully at some point, I'll be sending out a report to each program with a list of active users. What I ask is that you please carefully review the list and let us know who needs to be deactivated and any other changes that need to be made in the PD portal. I will provide you with step-by-step directions within that email. So just make sure you're following it and you should be good to go. Another reminder is to please remind your staff, especially here at the beginning of the year, to go ahead and log into the PD portal to continue to stay active. Typically, whenever we do these audits, I try to do a deactivation for those who haven't logged in X amount of time. So it's just important for them to make sure that they are being active. If you do have any questions about the quarterly audit of active users, please email me. And thank you very, very much in advance for your cooperation and help in this process. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, we come to a third point in our presentation for questions and answers, and I would like to refer to the chat pod. Let's see, Nelda had a question, I think, for Tracy and or Robin. Are there any Best Plus 2.0 refreshers, as well as Best Plus remote refreshers available or in the works?
Okay, I'll try to answer that. At this point, let me say this: if you have a Best Plus trainer on your staff, those are usually trainings that occur locally. In fact, we've never done a Best Plus refresher remotely or for a statewide training. Not to say we can't, we could consider that. But if your program has a lot of people, staff that need the refresher, either the first option would be if you have a trainer, have them do it. If you do not have a Best Plus trainer, then contact your PD specialist and they can work with you on providing a trainer and a training locally if you have a bunch of staff that need that training. If you have just one or two and say, we can do a couple of things. Sometimes I will email different PD coordinators or Best Plus trainers around the state who I know do refreshers often, and I'll ask and see if they have one coming up in the near future, and they'll often allow other program members to attend, maybe one or two. So if there were a lot of one-offs, like one or two from each program, we could consider doing one remotely. That we haven't done that before, but oh, Debbie, gosh. So Nelda, I would say first, how many staff do you have? If you have more than 2 or 3, then I would contact, well, I'd say about 4 to 5 that need it. Contact your PD specialist first, and then
see Thelma's comment and underneath that.
And then there's a question. I know there's, I'm sorry, there's other Best Plus questions. So Debbie's asking, okay, I lost it.
Is Best Plus remote refresher required in addition to a Best Plus refresher?
Okay, the Best Plus remote refresher, no. You're talking about that course that's in the PD portal to do remote. And I'm thinking Nelda, I could be wrong. I'm thinking you're asking, is there like a virtual Best Plus refresher available to take? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so So Debbie, in answer to your question, the first one is not. The second one, of course, it is required every 2 years. The Best Plus refresher.
Okay, and then Thelma Johnson says we have a face-to-face best refresher coming up in February. We should have room. So thank you,
Okay.
Thelma, for offering that.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. And sometimes, like I said, I know of Best Plus trainers who have been doing remote Best Plus refreshers. And so I can email them and say, do you have anything coming up? And they're usually really willing to let others attend as long as they have the space. So you can always contact me if you have one or two, and we can see what we can do.
That's all the questions I see on assessments. I do see another one that I think is directed to the PD portal. That's from Nelda. She says, what's the difference between withdrawal and remove?
Yes. So this is Laura. I'll speak to that one. So Nelda, I'm pretty sure I'll double check this, but I'm pretty sure that in that screenshot, most end users are not going to see remove. They would only see withdraw. Remove was showing up because it was taken from a administrator's account. So there's just more permissions available. But it's going to accomplish the same thing. It will take it off their transcript. It will take it off of, take them off the roster. So really what we would just want to focus on is getting folks to go and click on the withdraw. Now, if they have, this is kind of an aside, but if they have a asynchronous course on their transcript, instead of withdraw, they're going to see remove because they're removing that from their transcript. Whereas the live sessions, they're withdrawing themselves from the roster. So I hope that helps. And like I said, I'll look into it. I'll double check, and I will add a little note when I post the PD coordinators webinar in the chat, in the community practice. If I find something different, I'll throw it in that post in there just to make sure everybody gets that information.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
this may be a question for you, but I remember Katie's slide had this. Marie has a question. She says, we have had such a large turnover of staff, and we have had teachers leave, but then come back. I guess I'm asking if we think a teacher will be here, can we keep them on our list for a while in the PD portal?
That is a great question. Typically, we want whoever is employed to be active. If they are no longer employed, we don't necessarily want them to be active. However, that's a tough question. Because I know what you're saying. We do see quite a bit of turnover. So I would say that we can go ahead and deactivate them if they're not active. If you anticipate them coming back, just let us know whenever you provide feedback in the report, and we can do an easy bulk reactivation if needed. So I know what you mean, but I'm reading your message right now. Yeah, no, I completely understand. And when someone is gone for a month, at times, if you haven't contacted us directly and we haven't done an audit, then we won't even know. But I try to do audits around this beginning time of year just because of new staff and kind of cleaning things up. So hopefully that answers your question. I know it's a little fuzzy, so.
Thank you, Katie. And this call attention that Thelma Johnson from Navarro has added her email address in the chat pod. So if you're interested in anyone attending that face-to-face BEST training, if you could just give her an email and then you can discuss it. Any more questions? Nelda says, I really appreciate the PDT call calendar. Thank you, Nelda. Okay, we'll go on to now. It's going to be, is it going to be Tracy? I don't think Denise is here yet, is she?
Yeah, I don't see Denise. So
Okay.
We're going to, she left a list of things to discuss. So I'm going to go over this list. As many of you may already know, last Friday they made the decision and announcement to make TALE 2022 totally virtual. mainly because Harris County, the county that the hotel is in a red status. So that's, like the highest one for COVID. So she said that she has already sent an email message to all people who had already registered and changed anyone who had selected in-person sessions for pre-conference to remote. So for pre-conference, she's already moved people over to the remote sessions. Taylor reduced the price of the 3-day conference by $100 and the price of the 1-day conference by $20. For those that already paid through the system, now this I'm going to read verbatim, because for those who already paid through the system, Taylor will refund the full amount through PayPal and can then send a PayPal invoice for the new reduced conference costs to make the documentation clearer for programs. Now, anyone wanting to cancel and not attend in person, not attend virtually at all, can just let Taylor know. She did send out acceptance for proposals yesterday, so she should be able to post the conference sessions soon. Now, if you sent a proposal in, or anyone on your staff did, and they say they didn't get the email, have them check their spam. Some of them are going to spam, so check there, or encourage anyone else on your team who might have done that to check their spam. She has added a few extra sessions compared to last year, and they'll host at least one evening session on Thursday and Friday evenings. So, okay, that is what she sent in an email. Deb or anybody else want to add anything to this about Taylor? Any questions? Teachers, Saturday is the teacher day. So that would be a 1-day registration for them. And so she reduced, I don't know what I can't off the top of my head think of what registration cost is, but they reduced it by $20.
Tracy?
Thelma still has more seats in February for Best Plus 2.0. Lorraine, I mentioned the breakout sessions will be posted soon. Yes, they will. She will get the schedule out pretty soon, because she already let people know that their proposals were accepted. Yes, that should be coming. Good question. Denise just joined. Denise.
Oh,
I just did. I'm so sorry. I had another meeting scheduled, and
that's okay. Now, I just kind of went over that email that you sent to Krista about the cost and changing people from in-person to the remote pre-conference sessions. And so if you want to say anything else, or now if we've got questions, you can answer them.
Right. So basically on Friday of last week, we went ahead and went through and decided that we needed to go virtual. Harris County, which is Houston, where the conference was scheduled, we are in red or whatever. And so what we had was we started seeing there were a lot of people that weren't going to be able to come. So even if the hotel was still open, it was just, we wanted to be as inclusive as possible, I guess is what we didn't want anybody to have to miss it because they weren't going to be able to get approved. So we moved to that. We did virtual last year and it went well. So it's really just a move for that. I can go in maybe to the communities of practice and kind of post like an updated flyer from this one that we had before that doesn't have the hotel on it anymore, so that people understand. I did let everybody know, meaning if they were already registered, I sent an email through the system, and I have already we decided to reduce the cost, and we've already seen an increase. So, other people started registering and lots of people started asking and contacting us. So we're hoping that that's gonna, I think people were just waiting to see what was going to happen. And now we know. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Let's see. Do you have your chat pod open, Denise?
I do. I see it now. So it's about how we'll bill. If you haven't paid yet, I'm just going to go back. I've already changed the dollar amounts in the system. So if it's specific, like to T-Call, I will tell you that I've always done a group invoice for those people anyway. So most people had not paid already. A few had. So if you hadn't paid already, the pricing has already changed. If you're a group, I'm not the registration person anymore, but I was for about 8 years. And so I still do it. Martin Loa actually is, but either I will get you an invoice or he will. So if you need it for a group, I just go back in and send an invoice. And that's for people that need to do a purchase order or going to do a check. If somebody wants PayPal, we can do that. If somebody has already paid, this is what I'm going to say, and I will probably ask you before I do it. So one of the things that we discussed, and it just kind of depends on how you want to do your documentation and if you want it, how you want it done. I can go back in through PayPal because if you already paid, it's usually through PayPal. I can refund the entire amount and then I can go back and send you another PayPal invoice so that you can pay. And that's going to be kind of up to the individual program. That's how I would probably do it, just because I know when I use my credit card at the college, they want to see, okay, you charge this amount and that full refund came back. And then you have this other amount, which is for the reduced rate. I can give a partial refund if somebody prefers to do that, but it's, your program best. So the reduction in the cost is on a 3-day ticket, we went $100 lower, and on 1-day tickets, $20 lower on the registration. So anybody that has already paid, you just let me know how you want it done. I'll get it done, if that makes sense.
Well, I know we all appreciate y'all canceling the hotels too.
Yes.
You've gone way beyond. So thank you, Denise.
Thank you. And we did that because it was just that time, and we just wanted to make sure that nobody ended up stuck with the hotel and, them saying anything. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Denise? I think I don't see any other in the chat pod. Well, you are appreciated, Denise. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, I think we have, there we go. You have your time, the PD coordinator time. So this is a time for you to unmute or put in the chat pod any advice we can give you or any suggestions you may have about your PD coordinator webinar and the time we spend with you. Let's see, I don't see anything in the chat pod. Okay, do you want to unmute, Charlotte, or you want me just to read your chat?
You can read it.
Okay. Charlotte says, I was asked to mention that some of our staff members have plenty of quote unquote other PD, but are having difficulty finding lit sessions. Other staff members have found instructional PD sessions that are categorized as other. Could someone talk about that? Let's see. I don't think Beth is on the line, and Krista, you probably can't talk.
Hi, this is Krista. You just don't laugh at me with my funny voice. All of the Tech and Tell videos on the PD portal are considered lit. And so there's a whole slew of those.
Okay.
The best way to look for lit online is to go into the PD portal and go down into the search and just put it down. And I'm messing this up. I'm sorry. Look for just lit sessions, and the PD portal will come up with those that are just lit categories.
Hey, Krista.
Yes.
Do we want to maybe see it, Katie? Would you be willing to do a quick sharing of your screen on how they can search that global search?
This is Laura. I'll do it. Katie's she's got to run over and pick Julia up from school.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. She just.
Yes, I did put a PDF in the chat pod here for y'all.
I was digging that same one up. Yep. Yeah, I can do that real quick. I can
That would be
jump
great.
on. let me share my screen and I will just show y'all. It's pretty simple. And then the, trying to do two things at once over here. The PDF that Katie shared also has those directions on it for this. So what we're doing, or what I'm going to show you, is what we refer to as refining your search. So if you go up here to the top right corner, the search bar.
You're not showing your screen. There we go.
Oh, now you see it? Okay. Gosh, my computer. Okay, so when you log into the PD portal, this top right corner, that search bar is called the global search. I'm just going to go ahead and click enter and then go to training right here along the left side. And I see a lot more than y'all will see just because I'm a system administrator. So ignore all the extra stuff that you see. But I'm going to click on the stack of books for curriculum. So those are our online courses that they can take any day, anytime, from wherever they have an internet connection. Right here below the search bar, it says refine your search. When I click on it, it opens up. And here are the PD categories. So you can do this for any PD category. I know the closer we get to the end of the program year, it seems like the more folks are asking for PAL courses. So we would, you could refine right here by principles of adult learning. But in this case, literacy instruction, and then search. So the only search parameter I've put in place is that the PD category is literacy instruction. And then it shows, now again, it's showing me a couple of extra things just because of my system privileges. So like not everybody's going to see these trainer materials and stuff like that, but it should show the rest of these webinars up. So creating electronic portfolios, tech and tells, lots of tech and tells, standards alignment. So the SIAC webinars that took place, those should all fulfill the lit category. Now, if you wanted to confirm, you would click on the title. Down here, it says show more. And then you'll see, oops, sorry if y'all see that. You'll see right here, PD category, lit, literacy instruction, as well as the number of PD hours that they would receive upon completion. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good.
I think I know my manager and I know how to get to that, but for some reason, I think we just need to go over it thoroughly with the staff.
Sure. And we're always, again, Katie has shared the PDF. You're welcome to send that forward to them, or you can also have them contact us and we can send them the same information. Sometimes it just helps to hear it from a different source as well. And we understand that. And we're happy to kind of reinforce that, that with them. So.
Then another, continuing on this subject, but looking at the chat pods, Lorraine asked if the Taylor sessions were going to be categorized by PAL, Lit, or other, and they will be. Denise responded, and what'll happen as the process is once the sessions are confirmed, they are sent over to Train PD at TCAL. Then the PD category is identified, and then I'm assuming, Denise, on the schedule, when participants arrive at Taylor, they'll know the sessions that are PAL, Lit, and other, correct?
Right. We go in and we add that as part of the description so that people know, but they have to look for it. It's kind of like what was already discussed. They have to be thinking of it in advance because sometimes they don't look for it, but it'll be there if they are looking.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. I'm kind of going down the chat pod still. Pilar said I created a list of PAL and Lit for my instructors, and I can email it to anybody that wants. That's Miss Pilar Walker. She gives her email in the chat pod if you need to contact her. Everybody said thank you to her. Let's see. Anne-Marie says also the Tech and Tell recorded webinars. Teachers can watch several that create a cluster on a similar topic. For example, part 1 and part 2 to get your categories and increase hours in a PD category. Krista says, if you find courses that you feel are miscategorized, please send me the titles and we'll look into them. And she gives her email. All I'm doing is looking at chat pod. If you want to bring it up, you can see these.
Paula,
Yes.
I want to jump in. I'm going to double check this and I will put this in the post with the PD coordinators webinar in the community of practice, but I'm pretty sure, to piggyback off of what Pilar has done, I am pretty sure that everyone who is a PD coordinator, so in the portal, you should have access to a report under reporting 2.0. I think it's called curricula, PD category, and availability or something like that, that will identify all of the current courses that are available. And so like, as things change, you know, Katie talked earlier, she had 9 new webinars that were, what's the word I'm looking for, published this month. And so as that list of courses that are available grows and sometimes has things taken off of it, just maybe because they're outdated or glitchy and the information is no longer relevant. If you pull that report from the portal, it should give you the current information on what's available, what PD category, how many PD hours. And I say that I'm going to follow up on this in the COP simply because I'm pretty sure you guys have access to it, but I don't want to spend time right now showing you something if I'm wrong. So watch for that post in the PD coordinators community of practice. I will put information in there about the curricula PD category report for you guys to reference. And Pilar, if you are game kind of maintaining your own report, go for it by all means. I know we all have our own kind of systems and processes, but through the portal, again, that'll kind of update each time you pull it. And that takes some of that manual work off of y'all's plates, because I know no one is busting at the seams with extra time these days.
Thank you, Laura, very much. I want to go back before we move on to Nelda. She said, any new PD initiatives coming up? Have we covered that question?
No, we haven't. We've always got things in the books. So just right now we're working on the DE PDC and on the Career Pathway PDC. We will be getting some stuff going on with the TSTM soon. We've got new content development. I mean, it's so close to being ready to be published. I can smell it, even though I can't smell anything right now with my stuffed up nose. But there are some things coming up, and
Krista, I'm sorry, I was going to get some crackers out of the other room. Got to have a snack. We are going to be sending out Michelle, Vic, and Ashley with the DE Center. We're going to be sending out a save the date for the Distance Learning and Tech Integration Symposium. So that's coming up. It's not going to be until May, but we're very excited. It's going to be in San Antonio at Alamo College, North Lake Learning, I believe. I'll get you the information, but that's one to kind of get ready for. That's a new initiative coming up.
It's Lakeview, Deb.
Lakeview, thank you. North Lakeview.
And Tracy shares another one, teaching skills that matter. Looks like it's
Krista
on the
had
books.
said-
yeah, I said
Yeah, she had said TSTM.
Okay,
so I
that's what
thought
you
I
were
would
explaining. Sorry,
let them
didn't
know
catch
what that meant.
Any other questions that I missed on the chat pod, or we're ready to?
Close to
I
time.
don't think so.
Okay, so let's move on. Now, Tracy, are you covering that, or Lori possibly?
I am going to
Okay.
ask the questions and Lori's going to answer them. Thank you.
Okay.
So these were asked by Mara Serrano at the PD coordinator for Tarrant County. And these are great questions. So Lori, here we go. Is there an audit where staff PD hours are reviewed for accuracy by TWC? And then if so, what are monitors specifically looking for, and what data or records need to be available for the audit?
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. The PD hours used to be reviewed during monitoring. They haven't done that in the last 2 years, but it is still a category that's eligible for monitoring. So you do want to keep up with your information. I know one of the questions was, how long do we have to keep the records? In the core grant, records need to be kept for 7 years. Since then, it's been dropped to 3 years, but your contract still says 7 years, so it's got to be 7 years. And so what the monitors told me was that while they weren't looking at PD hours necessarily, one of the things they do look at is the PD funding and how it's used. And some of the things they look at just to verify that those funds are being spent correctly is attendance documentation, type of training received, was it remote or on-site, was it at a hotel, any travel documentation. Of course, now that we're so Zoomy, we don't have so much of that, but hopefully soon we'll have more travel going on.
Okay, and you did answer how many years they need to be kept, and since their contract says 7, that's what it is for now. And that could change, right? I guess with the next contract possibly, but
yeah.
Okay, so the last question is, do all of these PD hour records remain on file with the TWC Teams server?
Yes, the answer is yes. However, that doesn't mean they will remain accessible to you, because the years get locked every year after the end of the program year in Teams. And so if you don't want to rely on being able to access that, because to get access to a previous year, you have to submit a request and be approved, and then they'll unlock that year. So you don't want to rely on being able to pull it out of Teams.
Okay. And so those are all the questions right now. Those are great questions that Mara posed. And these are the kinds of questions that we would like for y'all to ask your PD specialist, or so that we can send them forward to TWC and have Lori answer for us, so that helps you on the other end. Keep your records straightened out and ready for a possible monitoring visit at any point. So great.
You just never know.
You never know, and you want to always be ready. I'm glad.
Yeah.
We had these questions. So this is what the PD coordinator time is really for. It's for y'all to ask these types of questions. So please don't be shy.
Okay, and Krista left her email address, and she also makes a statement of in the chat pod the type of documents they're looking for, just like y'all recapped.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
Yep.
Okay, now Tracy, are you doing this one also?
Well, okay, so let's see. This is kind of what I was talking about a little bit, but what questions do you have that will help you in your PD coordinator position? So you can put them in the chat now if you'd like, or like Krista said, put in the chat her email. That's or it's on the screen there. So,
and just to be thoughtful for everybody's time, I think it is almost 3
yes,
o'clock.
it is,
So
it is time.
she
We've
left
had a
her
good
email
meeting.
there.
Yes.
Not to discount any questions, but maybe we should push on. Okay, so Tracy, it looks like the PD coordinator webinars that we'll have in the future.
I don't think we're having one on February 10th, however, because that's Taylor. And
correct.
We'll be having the pre-con on February 9th. So scratch that one out, but the rest, March 10th, April 14th, and May 12th.
Yes, so we'll see you online next, I guess,
Yes.
on March 10th.
At the pre-conference,
And Ashley, is Ashley on?
No, she's not.
Okay, so
Michelle?
Sure, I'll share. Just if you haven't already, please like us on Facebook. We're putting a lot of useful things there, and we don't have this up there, but there's actually a Tech and Tell group on Facebook as well, where we're becoming more active and sharing things. So go and join the Tech and Tell group, or request to join that as well.
Thank you, Michelle, very much. Okay, we've got any last minute questions? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and see you on March 10th or at Taylor on February 9th. Deb, you have a comment?
I just wanted to mention that someone had asked, do we have anything in the making? And I had stepped away from it, that we do have, and I think Krista mentioned it, but didn't go into a lot of detail because she's not feeling very well. But I know that we've got some stuff in the making, because there's like 3 customer service trainings, a very basic learning disabilities training, principles of adult learning. We've got Dr. Glenda Rose writing some new PAL stuff for us. So we're in the process of about 6 or 7 new training events that are coming up. And it's just taken some time to get them really finished because we're focused so much on making sure that they're accessible and following the law. We've got the right questions, we've got the right references and stuff. So just be patient, and hopefully we'll get some of these out pretty soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great afternoon. Stay safe, stay healthy.